You're watching the Rhoda Wilson Show, and we're delighted to be back again with a brand new series. For the next few weeks, we'll be talking to great guests who are looking to inspire you by telling you all about themselves and their businesses. Also, we have a new section called Opinion Point. This is where the Rhoda Wilson Show is on the streets of London, asking the public for their opinions on various questions. So stay tuned. Now, are you interested in fashion? Or would you like to know what will be fashionable next season? Join me, Jenni and Nkwo. Is that it? Nkwo here to tell us all about what is happening in the fashion world. Jenni, fashion, I suppose Fashion Enter and Fashion Capital is a company that you're a director of that helps designers. Do you want to tell us about these two companies?
Yes, certainly. Fashion Enter is actually not for profit.
Really?
And there are so many talented designers out there today, like Nkwo here, that we just wanted to have a support organisation, a network for these people. And it can be any person from any background. You don't have to be a fashion designer, you just may want to have a passion for fashion. And we have various tools that we've got which we can help them. So for example, we have a factory in Haringey, so we can help with the production and the patterns. We have 2 boutiques. We have a boutique in Croydon, which is where you got that beautiful dress from.
I know, da-da-da.
And we have another boutique in Barking. And we have a concession also in Alders. We supply lots of retailers such as Topshop with our designers, and also ASOS.com. So we're like a talent scout for people. And we own fashioncapital.co.uk, which is this enormous portal that was set up by government in 2001. And most of it is a free resource, so you can find out about what's a docket, what's a confidentiality agreement, and it just helps every step of the way to become a designer.
What about Fashion Enter and Fashion Capital? What are, I mean, I know the two companies. What do those companies do, individual companies?
Well, Fashion Enter is a not-for-profit company, which means that we can help virtually anybody. So they don't have to be a designer. It may be somebody that's just got a real interest in fashion, and they've always wanted to have a dream of owning their own fashion label. So we have various tools to help them to do that. So we have a factory in Haringey, and this factory, we can do the production, we can do patterns, we can do toiles, and actually we can do anything. So if we just had a little sketch that was on the back of a piece of paper, we could create a pattern from there and a toile, help them source the fabric and get them really on their way. We also have boutiques, so we then sell the designers' products in the boutiques. That's how I got to meet Nkwo here. And I mean, she's a fabulous designer, and I know that dress is looking particularly beautiful on you.
This is one of our designs. I have to get up in a minute for you to see, but maybe afterwards, you can cut and show everybody what the design is. But this is lovely. It's a lovely design. We'll talk to you a little bit more about it later. I just want to speak to Jenni as to what the process is. So the designer, what you scout for the designers, or they just come to you, or how does it work?
Well, fashioncapital.co.uk was set up by government in 2001, and that's now got a very big heritage. It's got over 60,000 users that go on there, and they're all registered users as well, so we have more users on top of that. And so that attracts people to our organisation because a lot of the information on there is completely free. So if somebody approached us and they said that they wanted to become a designer, the very first thing we do is we have what we call like a mentoring session with them, and we sit down and we judge their strengths and their weaknesses and where they are in the design cycle. So then we have the tools to be able to help them. So we've got wonderful staff, I mean absolutely fantastic staff, and a company's only as good as the people it employs.
I totally agree,
And so we can talent scout for Topshop, and we supply designers to ASOS.com. We've had about 17 designers, and we had the showroom in Kingston, so we can call the designers that are more experienced, such as Nkwo here. We would then put them in the showroom, and then we would invite buyers. We've got Harvey Nichols coming along to see some of our designers next week.
Oh, very nice.
So it's all about organically growing your company, and because money's so tight for everybody, we have those tools to be able to help people.
But you also have, is it Florentine Clothing Village as well as a workshop, say the workshop Fashion Capital's factory? What is that? Right,
there's a place called Florentine Clothing Village, and it's like a jewel of London that nobody knows about.
Really? Did you hear that? We've just revealed a famous place in London that you don't know about. So what is it? So this is place, whereabouts is this place?
It's in between Manor House Tube and Seven Sisters.
Okay.
And there are 32 what they call CMT. This is cut, make and trim factories. And many of these factories wholesale, and they also have small units where you can go and buy the garments. And they're obviously, because they're being manufactured there, they're at a reduced price. So we have set up a workshop there, which is, it's actually, the workshop is a very large room, and it's split into two. And on the right-hand side, we make production for Jaeger, and about 80 of our designers, we make their garments and production. We help them every step of the way. But on the left-hand side, we have a training suite, and we have 14 computers. We have £30,000 worth of software, and we will actually develop the skills of anybody that wants to learn about fashion and production and how to make their dreams a reality.
Is that the same as the Fashion Online showroom? Is that where the computer, because I've got your Fashion Online.
No, it's not quite, it isn't the same. Fashion Online is sort of our fashioncapital.co.uk website. But Fashion Online, we've got our own boutiques that are on there. And when you become a member, a designer will go on, open up an e-commerce boutique, and all the sales go to the designer.
And do you actually charge people to become a member? I know you said the information there is free, but then is there like a fee?
For some that are more sort of developed, yes, there is a fee. It's £175 plus VAT a year, but that is advice on tap. But there are actually programmes whereby if they can't afford it, we will find a way, and they join the organisation for free. So we're working on programmes like Women in Work, so anybody in the UK who would like to join our organisation can access that, and they get funding to do it.
That is great, because we're going to show the, what is the website? What's the website called? Your web,
fashioncapital.co.uk.
So, and that's going to appear on the screen, just in case you're looking for a piece of paper to write this down. So, I mean, Nkwo, is that correct? Am I correct with my pronunciation?
Just about.
Just about. Oh gosh, I've been practicing this in the room going Nkwo. Now come here, I've just messed it up. Nkwo, tell us, I mean, how did you found Fashion Capital? I mean, Jenny was just talking about the fact that's how she met you. So what did you do? You went onto the website and you took us through the process?
Well, I met a friend. She's a designer from Fashion Capital, and she told me all about it. So she told me about it probably a year before I actually decided to join, because I kept thinking maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe, you know, I just wasn't sure. And so I finally joined it last May, and it's really been very, very helpful. Like the boutique, I stock in the boutiques, and through the boutique I got to stock in ASOS, and some of the other retailers have shown interest. And it's just, I've made a lot of good contacts through Fashion Capital.
And what is your background?
Well, I don't have a design background. I studied psychology, but my mother taught me how to sew when I was young, and I had lots of dolls, and I was always making clothes, and I've just continued with it now. So
what is your ambition? Where would you like to be?
Well, I'd just like to see my company grow, and eventually I'd like to give back. Like everybody who works in Fashion Capital are also helpful, and it would be nice to give up my time at some point to help other designers who come in, not just through Fashion Capital, but other places as well. I would like to mentor and help new and upcoming designers.
Who do you admire the most in the fashion world, and in terms of the design? Who do you see out there who goes, oh, that design, that is so inspirational?
Do you know what? That's really hard, because there's so many good designers out there, and sometimes you might like a bit of one person, sometimes you might like a bit of another, but there is one designer or maybe a brand that I really admire, and that's Bieber. It used to be really big in the 60s. It's not really, I think it's gone now. Well, it has gone, it was revived, but it didn't do as well. But Bieber was, she started off as a mail order company, and she just grew and grew and grew. And I've interviewed a lot of women who grew up, who were teenagers then, and everybody wanted something from Bieber. Everybody had to have something from there, and it did really well for a long time. So I do admire what she did with her company.
Jenny, do you think that the changes in the British taste for fashion is going to help to? I mean, because I'm thinking about the different designs I've seen in the unit in Croydon.
Yes,
they're quite lively and different from your norm in the high street. Do you think this is where the fashion world is probably going to go to, the trend?
Oh, it's got to. I mean, the high street today is so homogenous, you know, so it's all the same. And the high street is very much dominated by some very big multinational companies like the Arcadia Group, for example. You know, they sort of own 8-10 brands. And I think people... There are now so many trends, you know, one minute the shoulder pads are in and the harem pants, and now I think people have begun to realise that it's about your own style. I think it was Chanel who said style never goes out of fashion, and it's true. You know, I think women today are becoming more confident. They know what they like, they know what colours suit them, and as a result of that, we encourage our designers, yes, follow some trends and prediction services, which are also on Fashion Capital, but actually think about you. You know, get
your personality as well should influence you the way what you wear. You know, is that advice you probably think you'll be giving to people in the future, or are you just going to concentrate more on the design of clothes in your company?
I think we work at lots of levels. You know, we go into schools and we do a workshop. So recently we went into the City of London Academy at Islington, and we did T-shirt projects, and it was fantastic to see these Year 10s creating their designs. We then put them into our own shop, we sell them, we give them 60% of the money back, so it goes back into the school. And I think really about fashion is today about expression. It's about being individual. I think people are... Prices are so competitive, and obviously Primark's had a huge effect with sort of the economies of scale that they can achieve. But not everybody wants to wear Primark, you know, and you know the ethics of. So we encourage our designers to make money, because there's no point in having a passion and doing it as like a labour of love. It is a business at the end of the day, and we also encourage them to be true to themselves.
But that is great. I can see that we're going to take a break, Jenny. Yes, so don't go away. I know we've got someone else from your from Fashion Capital and Fashion Enter who's going to tell us, another designer who's going to tell us about their design as well. So we'll be back. So please do not go away. This is really interesting because we're talking about fashion designer, and we've got Jenny here who runs Fashion Enter and Fashion Capital, telling us about, you know, encouraging young designers. You know, anybody really. I suppose age doesn't come into it, does it?
Not at all.
So age doesn't come into it. It's not just young designers. So anybody that wants to be a fashion designer can tap into the wealth of knowledge and information on Fashion Capital and Fashion Enter websites. So please don't go away. We'll be back shortly.